Good afternoon. Good afternoon. We're sorry we're a little bit late getting started, but sometimes technical difficulties and a little change in guests today, but that's okay because we're just gonna flow with it because we're just so happy that you're here and the guests who are with us are here, and we're ready to give you to present to you an exciting program today. Again, I'm Denise Rollard Barnes. I welcome you to Let's Talk on WIN TV. I'm your host and publisher of the Washington Informer. And I'm thrilled. I'm thrilled today, but for two special reasons. One, of course, this is February. It's Black History Month, where we acknowledge all of the immense contributions that African Americans have made to this country to make it a great country. And also, we are acknowledging, got my little red on, acknowledging Valentine's Day, spreading love and joy in the spirit of love. I don't know about you all, but I've been hearing that word a lot. I hear it in church services. I'm hearing it on television programs. You're hearing it here today. We're trying to figure out how we can spread the love, particularly at this time when we are in a period of divisiveness, hatred. I don't know, just it's a bad spirit that we can overcome because of days like this and because of months like this, when we can spread love and celebrate who we are and what we give to one another and to the nation, to our communities, and to the nation that we serve. So happy Black History Month and a heartfelt Valentine's Day to all of you. As you enjoy today's episode, I want to remind you that fresh stories and updates are available weekly in the Washington Informer. So I want to make sure, I always like to show the paper. Make sure you pick up an issue. It's always available on newsstands on Thursdays. That's when you can get I want to feel the ink on my fingers and rub my fingers through the pages. Sounds like a Valentine's message. On Thursdays, when the paper is always available. And I don't want to miss an opportunity to say that, because people often ask, are you all still printing? And yes, we are still printing. We will print a newspaper until we can't. And hopefully that's no time soon, because the demand from our community is that we continue to print. But however, if you are a social media enthusiast, don't forget to follow the Washington Informer on your favorite social platforms to engage with our community and keep up with the latest happenings here in the DMV and maybe in other places throughout the country. We try to pick up big stories that are happening in other places so that we can help to amplify what our community is involved in and encountering. Consider becoming a subscriber, because when you go to the website, a little box will pop up and all we ask for is your email address. Sometimes we ask for donations and what have you, but most importantly, all we want is your email address so that we can make you a part of the Washington Informer family. Will you receive our publication directly in your inbox every day with all of our updated daily news. And I love my staff. We're about to celebrate our 60th anniversary. And although we turned 60 in October, our anniversary is celebrations in March. But we try not to miss a beat when it comes to keeping our readers up to date on the news that's happening in the community. So in order to get those daily news updates, we ask you to consider subscribing. We have several newsletters, but WIN Daily is the way that we want to connect with you every single day. And while tuning into the show today, spread the word and share this broadcast on your social media platforms. And follow us on all social media. You'll find us on all the major platforms. But don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel here at Washington Informer TV. No spaces, just Washington Informer TV. And for those who may not know, all of this makes a difference. Someone asked me the other day, how can you all continue to just produce content for free and make it available for free? But, what helps us, we have advertisers, of course, who help to pay the bills, but it's the fact that you click, that you follow, that you click, that you like, that you share. Those are the things that help us to continue to garner the revenue that we need to continue to publish the newspaper and our website and all the other platforms that we're on. So thank you in advance for signing up to be a Washington Informer subscriber. Thank you for following us. Thank you for clicking. Thank you for sharing. We appreciate you. Today's show is packed with inspiring guests and important conversations. Our first segment, which is sponsored by Pepco, we're excited to welcome January Mallory, Pepco's Senior Energy Assistance Program Director. And she's going to share valuable information about Pepco's new payment plans and opportunities for us to save on our energy bills and to save money. And we know that, while all prices are going up, it includes our utility prices. So January is going to give us some tips on what we can do to make sure that we stay within our budgets and that our electricity is not causing us any stress. And we thank them for that sponsored segment. Then in our second segment, we'll have the privilege of speaking with social justice activist and author and a woman I've respected for many, many, many years, Tamika Mallory. She'll be here discussing her powerful new book, I Lived to Tell the Story. And I'm really so excited to talk with her, to talk about the important messages in the book. And it sounds like it's an opportunity she really needed and wanted to tell the story about, as it says, love, legacy, and resilience. And it's something I think that we all can learn something from. And then we're going to have Kimberly Corbin, Chief Administrative and Financial Officer of the Greater Washington Urban League. The Urban League is holding their annual Whitney M. Gala in a couple of weeks. And we can never hear enough about the Greater Washington Urban League and the work that they do in the community. So Kimberly Corbin will be here to share that with us. And last but certainly not least, you all have been seeing that video that I have run the last couple of weeks from Dr. K. Wise Whitehead, who's the president of the Association for the Study of African American Life and History, where Dr. Whitehead is going to be with us today to talk about ASALH's upcoming Black History Luncheon Festival and book program. And, it's a want to be there, one of those FOMO moments where you don't want to, what is it? Fear of missing out. I'm sorry, I'm getting it together. Fear of missing out. That event, the Urban League's event, even our 60th anniversary are three events that you want to get to in the next couple of weeks. So happy to have Dr. Whitehead with us. So we are looking for really a fantastic hour of programming. Before we go to our news broadcast with Curtis Knowles, I've just got one request. And that is for those of you all in the community and here at the Washington Informer, we are really concerned about those who are being impacted by some of the decisions that are coming down from the administration. We know that it's not only affecting businesses, it's affecting nonprofits, and it's affecting individuals in our community. And some of you may want to talk, some of you may not. But if you have a story or a comment or anything that you want to express, reach out to us at news, N-E-W-S, at Washington Informer Newspaper. This is news at Washington Informer Newspaper. We certainly want to hear from you. And just about every one of our guests here has probably some insight. So feel free to talk to us in the chat on this program if there's some questions you have or concerns you have about how you're going to get your electric bills paid if you have just been laid off. You heard there were thousands laid off today. But how are you going to get those bills paid? How the Greater Washington Urban League might be able to assist if you have some issues. And of course, Dr. Whitehead is going to tell us we've been here before. We have been here before and we will get through this too. So having said all that, just we want to hear from you. You can talk to us in the chat or you can email us at news@washingtoninformer.com. So now let's watch our weekly news broadcast by Curtis Knowles.
This is WIN TV News, bringing you the news that matters.
President Trump has taken control of the John F. Kennedy Center for the Performing Arts, placing the historic institution under his direct authority. At a Wednesday Kennedy Center board meeting, Trump was elected chairman, replacing financier and philanthropist David M. Rubenstein. The board also terminated Kennedy Center President Deborah F. Rutter and appointed former Trump administration official Richard Grenell as interim executive director. The Kennedy Center, which has long maintained a bipartisan board, is now entirely controlled by Trump and his allies. Earlier in the week, the administration removed 18 board members who President Joe Biden had appointed himself. The move has drawn immediate backlash from the arts community, with Ben Folds, the artistic advisor to the National Symphony Orchestra, resigning due to Trump's appointment. DC police say the statue of a Scottish terrier named the Scotty was stolen from a dog park in Southeast near Navy Yard between midnight and early morning on January 24th. Usually located at the Virginia Ave Dog Park, the Scotty was created by DC artist Will Fleischl, who is also known for creating the portrait of President Abraham Lincoln on the $5 bill. The Scotty was forged at the New Arch Foundry in Baltimore, Maryland. Police are offering a reward of up to $1,000 for anyone with information that can lead to an arrest for stealing the Scotty. Howard University became the first historically black college to achieve the highest research classification for U.S. universities, officially announced on Thursday. The American Council of Education granted Howard a Research 1 Carnegie classification, recognizing institutions with very high research spending and doctorate production. Howard President Ben Vinson III commented saying, quote, "This achievement demonstrates our research capacity and commitment to tackling society's most pressing questions. To qualify as R1, university must spend at least $50 million annually on research and development and produce at least 70 research doctorates." The university leads several major research initiatives, including a partnership with 5 other institutions studying power optimization for electric vehicles, one of the 15 U.S. Defense Department University research centers focusing on tactical autonomy and artificial intelligence, and the nation's first center dedicated to sickle cell disease research.
Thanks so much, Curtis. We're going to jump into our program now, and we're going to have a little switch up in how I outlined our guests. We're going to start with our conversation with Tamika Mallory, who has just released a book that is a must-read called I Live to Tell the Story. Tamika, are you there?
I am here. Oh, there I am. Hello.
Okay. Yes, how are you? How are you? Good. I see. Well, you got a book like I got.
That's right.
All right.
Thank you so much for speaking so highly of me. I appreciate it, and I appreciate you as well.
No, my pleasure, my pleasure. And it doesn't seem like it, but it's been a while. That you have been out here. You've been. Folks might look at you right now and say, "Well, she's only 16," but. But when they read your story, there's a journey. There's a long journey. So tell us, what you want people to know about who Tamika Mallory is.
I think oftentimes people see us out here organizing, protesting, fighting, going in and out of court buildings, corporate buildings, raising our voices and bringing attention to injustice in this country, bringing attention to so many vulnerable populations and their needs, our needs. And it can sometimes make people feel like you're just a robot, that you're not human, that you haven't experienced all the forms of life that everybody else is going through. Trauma, trials and tribulations, failures, good days, happy days, love, the loss of love, the loss of life. So much happens to us that's just like anyone else. And I think that my book gives people an opportunity to meet me in some of those places. Some highs, of course, some great moments, but there certainly have been some lows and some things that have hurt really, really bad. And I opened up old wounds to tell stories that I hope will help another person as they are traveling along on their journey.
That's one of the things that I see in the book when I look at the title and I started reading and, heard you talking about Barbie dolls. And I never put Tamika and Barbie dolls together, right? And I said, wow, okay, this is really gonna take me somewhere because, but the title still talks about I live to tell the story. So yes. Despite of it all, there's a survival story here that gives people hope. And so what was it? What was that thing, if there was one, that made you say, I need to tell this story. I need to write it. I need to let people read it. Was there a moment in time when you said, I need to get this out of my head and heart onto paper?
Well, I have two books. This is my second book. The first
Okay.
one, State of Emergency, was more about my theory of change for America and really calling in those people who claim to be allies to get dirty with us, like really get in the mud and and if it should translate to you becoming an accomplice versus just an ally who can show up and sort of go in and out as they see fit. And that was really what I wanted to get across in that first book. What does true accomplices look like? And what would you do if, you really had to put it all on the line for the people that you claim you care about? And it was a powerful expression of my thoughts about the state of emergency that we as Black people were facing at that time, 5 years ago, and we're still facing a similar crisis even today. And so that was the first book. This book is different. This book is more about my theory of change for myself, actually, and all the different phases that I've traveled through, and much success, sure, but there have been some dips and some places and spaces that I didn't know I was going to get through. So that's the name. I live to tell the story. And when I wrote the first book and when I signed my first deal, they gave me a 2-book deal. And my publisher is Black Privilege Publishing with Charlemagne the God. It is his imprint. And he gave me a 2-book deal. We didn't know what the second book would be. But later on, he came back to me along with my editors and they said, hey, we think that you can write a memoir. And I was like, I don't know, I don't see me at this age. At the time, I was 43. No, I was younger than that. I must have been about 41, actually. So I'm like, I don't see where a memoir is going to come from me because I feel like I need to be at least 65, 70 years old to tell the story of my life. And they were like, no, we think you should sit down, write an outline so that you can see the power of your story. And I did that. I took the time to write an outline. It took me a few months to get through. And it felt like 800 pages of content. I was shocked and I opened up wounds. I opened up the chest that has all the little papers and all the stories buried in it. And I was like, wow, this is really incredible. I never thought of myself as someone who could write this type of material. And once I finished that outline and really took a look and looked inside and made a decision that I was ready, I started writing. And I'll tell you that, and I know you know this, you talk to people with books all the time. You also write all the time. It's hard.
Yeah.
It is not easy to get through book 1, but especially now to go into book 2, because you already know the challenges from book 1, and so I was like, you got to be really out of your mind to start writing a book again. But now that it's in my hand and I'm holding it, I feel so proud of myself that I went ahead and I did something that I didn't think I could accomplish, which would be very similar to the fact that there were challenges in my life that I didn't think I could get through.
So Tamika, let's go back, because all I said was Barbie dolls. But I mean, you're from is it New York?
I'm from New York City. Yes, I am.
Right. Okay. And born in a family of like civil rights activists, so it was kind of in your blood, to be engaged in movements, because it's been more than one movement that you have not only participated in but led, right? But in the middle of all of that, you're having life experiences. You talk about the loss of I think your son's father. You talk about a lot of personal things in this book. And so I want people to go read it. I'm not going to put it all out there, but if there's one story that you think, is symbolic of why, you use the title, I Live to Tell the Story, what would that be?
Well, you mentioned my son's father, and that's a big part of my story that I didn't think I could survive after he was deceased and my son was only 2 years old. For 23 years, now. I've been raising my son on my own. He's now a grown man who has my 2-year-old granddaughter. He thinks he's a grown man. He's still my baby. But he has my 2-year-old granddaughter. And it was hard. I mean, when I got pregnant and we decided at a very young age that we were going to have a baby, I never thought for one moment that he wouldn't be there to help me and to continue the journey with me. And so,
and if you don't mind me asking, how old were you when you?
When he was killed, I was either 19 or 20 years old, but very young.
Right.
I know I was 19, about to turn 20, because he was killed in April and my birthday was in June.
Okay.
Is in June. So I was 19 years old and my son's father was just gone. That's it, and I, of course, went through extreme depression, all the things that you can imagine, the crippling feeling of being a single parent, not having the father, the protector, the person that I made this decision with, which at that age was crazy in the first place. It was a real reality call, like a wake-up call. And everything my parents had been trying to tell me all made sense at one time.
Wow.
One, telling me don't move too fast in your life because you do everything now, you won't have anything to do later. My mom constantly trying to tell me that having a baby at a young age was a recipe for disaster. Also, my parents trying to help me understand the movement and what was going on in the world and my role in it. And all that stuff just came together in one space and time when my son's father was murdered, because I then understood that there was a crisis with Black men being shot to death by our own in this nation. I knew that was a problem. I knew it wasn't talked about enough. I knew that I needed to be more involved in that particular movement, to your point, because there have been many. And so I have been engaged in gun violence prevention and intervention work for a long, long time, since my son's father was killed. And that's a space that I feel gets the least amount of attention that it needs and deserves as a public health crisis in our nation. So, yeah, I mean, that was probably one of those tough things to write about, but also one of the most freeing and empowering spaces to talk to another young woman or young man about, the traps and pitfalls, because I tell you the story about how he got himself in trouble, that he ended up being killed. But then I took through the challenges of trying to raise a child on my own.
Well, I true confessions, I haven't finished it yet.
Okay.
But I'm enjoying it. I am enjoying it. And I think that, it's a book definitely worth reading and sharing with, many audiences. I don't know if there was one specific audience you were thinking about when you wrote the book. Women, men, young women. I mean, what was your focus?
So young women and men is my sweet spot. That's where I hope that this book will make it into the hands of teenagers, 25-year-old, young folks that are getting started in their careers. I hope that I do absolutely want to make sure that all of my seasoned family out here in the world, in the universe, would read the book. But I hope that after you finish, that you would take it and turn it over to a young person in your family or, in your orbit that you feel like needs this in order for them to continue to push through. Already folks are reading the book. People have finished it and have contacted me in days since the release to say that it's already empowering them, that they see themselves in the content. They see themselves in the old housing projects, just like me as a young girl. And look at where we are now, that despite all the challenges, we're still standing, we're still here. And isn't that truly the story of resilience that Black women, specifically Black people, of course, constantly find ourselves pushing through, but we are okay. We're going to be okay.
Right. We're going to live to tell the story. Yes, and you got the proof is in the pages. So thank you, Tamika, so very much for being with us. Let us know when you're in the DMV to if you're book signing or something like that, let us know. We want to figure out where can people get the book.
Yeah.
Oh, you're going to be here. Oh, I already got that. Tuesday, February the 18th, next week,
Next week.
at All Souls. Okay, with April Ryan. That's going to be fantastic.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's what I was hoping that we would get. They didn't tell me that you were already coming. So now I know.
Yeah, no, I will be there. Thank you.
Wonderful.
I appreciate you so much. And I just want to say to my probably a cousin, January Mallory, that we've not met, but obviously somewhere in the bloodline.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I'm gonna January, because I'm gonna segue to her now. Anyway, January, you there? I may as well introduce cousins.
Hi.
How you doing?
How are you? I would love to meet you.
Well, we have to make it happen.
Yes, most definitely.
Connect us behind the scenes. Thank you.
Yeah. All right. Take care, Tamika. Thank you. Mallory, don't go away. January, don't go away. Yes. How are you?
I'm doing good, and you?
Good. I'm glad you enjoyed that interview. And again, this seems like a show of salvation here, and ways in which we can help one another, because you're here. And this segment is sponsored by PEPCO. I'm so very grateful that you all are doing that. And you're the Senior Energy Assistance Program Director there, and you're going to help us to save on our electric bills. We hear that, you can say truth or a fallacy. I mean, are the electric bill costs increasing, and why, if so?
So there are a number of factors that play a role in your energy bill. Number one being the weather. We had a very cold January. And so you couple that with the cost of energy along with our energy usage. We want to stay comfortable in our homes when it's cold outside. So all of that sort of mixing together, what makes the bill. And in this case, we have seen higher bills than normal. So that is how that combination works.
And I mean, we all are waiting, just tapping our feet and waiting for the weather to get warm, but then following warm weather becomes hot weather, which again is another time, I think, when energy costs spike. Is that correct?
Yes. Again, the weather is playing a role in it. And, whether you are a cold nature person or a warm nature person, you want to make sure that when your home is comfortable. Right. And so that's where, mixing how you use your thermostat, how you use your electricity, how your home is weatherized to sort of combat those outside temperatures is really important.
So what does PEPCO have for us? We're talking about new payment plans. What do they look like?
So yes, right now PEPCO is offering our customers a little bit of reprieve when it comes to paying their bills. So right now for the month of January and February, we are waiving those late fees when it comes to paying your bill. And traditionally, we offer customers repayment plans of up to 12 months. We are now extending that to 24 months. We're also suspending disconnections for non-payments for the month of February. And we're waiving deposits for disconnected customers who are seeking to restore their service.
I mean, this is like Christmas in February. What led PEPCO to decide, that this was essential right now, which it is? I mean, there's a lot going on right now that affects people's ability to pay their bills, including the weather. But Merry Christmas. What is it that what initiated this?
So, I mean, we're all in this together. I'm just as much an electric customer as everyone else, and we want to ensure that our customers are maintaining service. And so this is a way that we are saying, we hear you, we understand that this is a stressful time, and we want to offer our customers some assistance to help ease during this difficult time.
Who's eligible? Is there any particular qualifications? Go ahead.
Yeah, this is really for all residential and commercial customers. So there is no particular income requirement in order to take advantage of these payment plans.
And is there an application process?
No, there's no application process needed. You can actually call our customer care line and speak with a representative, and they can look at your account and review what options are best for you.
That's amazing. So as of when the person's going to go pay their, let's say, February bill,
Mm-hmm.
well, actually, they might be still trying to pay that December bill,
Mm-hmm.
And would that be the case? It's like, oh, I'm really behind. Let me call now, and then you all will just automatically work out a plan for them.
Absolutely. We
Okay.
highly encourage you to give us a call. We want to work with you. We don't want this to be a matter of making like a very big life decision. So please call and talk with us so that we can work out a plan that fits best for you.
And what would that number be?
Sure. The telephone number is, I'm sorry, I don't have it off the top of my head, but it's 202-833-7500.
Okay, and that's on their bill anyway. It's a normal number that's on the phone bill. I know that number. Anyway, no, that's I should have told you because I kind of remember. You've had that number for years, so everybody knows they can go to that number that's on their bill if you didn't capture it here, and just call, and someone will assist them
Yes.
with their needs. That's wonderful. Mm-hmm. Are there any other recommendations that you might have for consumers with, I mean, you don't want them to run up their bills so that they can,
No.
What can we things?
So I highly encourage everyone to look at our online webpage where we have a ton of information on how you can do low cost or no cost changes in your home to reduce your energy use. We also have programs such as budget billing, which allows you to set a predictable monthly bill payment amount so that you can better budget for your bill each month. Also, when you log into my account, the tool will also show you, in addition to those tips on how to save, you can look at your usage tracking reports so that you can kind of adjust where you can to how you're using your energy. So for example, if you live in a home with multiple people and everyone's getting up at 8 a.m. in the morning for work and for school, you know that that's a period where you're using the most energy. And if you can sort of reduce your energy use in the middle of the day when everyone's gone, you can adjust your thermostat accordingly. Of course, unplug those energy hogs and things of that nature to sort of reduce the amount of energy you're using when no one is home. So those are the types of tips that you'll see on our webpage. We also encourage our Maryland customers to sign up for a free quick home energy checkup. And this is available to all Maryland customers. And this will give you an opportunity to have a more in-depth conversation with one of our experts to learn about those energy efficiency measures that you can take in your home. If you live in the district, you still have access to those tips online through our My Account tool to learn of the changes that you can make within your home to help reduce your energy costs.
I'm also wondering, January, about seniors, because you just triggered a thought. Once people retire, sometimes they're home all day, right? Which means that there aren't those peaks in, drops in energy use during the day because they're there all day. They're using, the house might be warmer. They're using, television, might be dishwasher, washing machines. They're consuming more energy. But they're seniors with unfixed income, right? So how do you all help those individuals?
So we do, with our tips, offer scenarios where you can look at those individuals that are home a little bit more often, because we do have some that work from home. So you want to look at your thermostat. We encourage, if health permits, setting your thermostat to about 68. And this is really something that you have to kind of look at. What is your comfort level when it comes to your thermostat? And during those periods when you are not home, or perhaps during the middle of the day, like right now, I have my blinds open so that I can leverage the outside sunlight to help keep my home comfortable and to use less of my HVAC. So, just kind of letting the HVAC rest a little bit during those periods of the day when the sun is shining the most. And this is particularly important for individuals who have heat pumps.
Mm-hmm.
So you want to make sure that when it's cold outside, you're not sort of adjusting your thermostat up and down sort of aggressively, because that causes the heat pump to work more, which will impact your energy use. So looking at your thermostat, also looking at, as I said, weatherizing your home to make sure that you're keeping the outside air out and keeping your home comfortable is another key way that individuals can make adjustments to their home. And then secondly, looking at your light bulbs, making sure that you have the most efficient light bulbs, such as your LED light bulbs, so that when you do have the lights on, that they are working more efficiently for your home. So those are just a few of the tips that are available to individuals such as seniors who are home during the day and they're still sort of moving about and they want to be comfortable. We also recommend individuals who are low to moderate income to look into our energy assistance programs. Mm-hmm. So there are programs that are available to customers on a local, state, and federal level that allow for grants to be applied to your account to help to make your bill more affordable. The LAHEAP program, or the Low Income Home Energy Assistance Program, is a federally funded program that's available to customers that they can apply for to receive that sort of assistance. And all of that information about the energy assistance programs are actually on our webpage at the pepco.com/assistance finder. So you'll find all that information there.
Well, wonderful. You have been giving us a great Christmas present, wrapped it up with a bow with all of the other tips that consumers need and should use to make sure that they can make sure their energy costs are affordable. And we're glad that Pepco's here with us always to come and share some of these tips. We can't hear them enough. And, making sure that when people call that number, what was it? Was it 703? I forgot it already. 202-833-7500. Yes, 202-833-7500. Yes. So it looks like you'll get a friendly person on the other line. So call Pepco if you're having some problems. And January, Mallory, I want to thank you very much for being with us today and sharing all of this great information.
Thank you. Have a good one.
We'll talk soon.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. So we're rolling right along here, and talking about programs that help people in the DMV. I am excited to have Kimberly Corbin, Chief Administrative and Financial Officer for Greater Washington Urban League. Kim, welcome to Let's Talk.
Thank you for having us.
My pleasure. My pleasure. Before we, talk about, this big event that's coming up, just give folks a little taste of what the Greater Washington Urban League, what it does and how it helps in the community, if you don't mind.
Not at all. And thank you. And by the way, happy 60th to you.
Thank you. Thank you.
And we are so excited and proud for our long relationship with Informer. You help us get the word out. You help us get the people in. So thank you so much. I really just wanted to share with folks that the Greater Washington Urban League envisions communities, multi-generational flourishing without the hindrance of racism and violence. So to that extent, we look at our work, and I have this concept always in my head of this tree of life. And in that tree of life, the fruit that we're after is reducing and eliminating the unnecessary loss of Black lives. And everything we do focuses in to improve the health and wellness and empowerment of people of color. But in order to do that, we got to do a couple things. We got to just make sure that we center the lived experience and the needs of the people that we serve in truth, which means that we operate and we design all of the work that we do around the root causes, not just the symptoms. Mm-hmm. So I'm excited that, we are ready to reduce the loss of lives by empowering people with housing stabilization, financial empowerment. And one thing that we've adopted probably 3 years ago was therapy has to be ours. A dollar in a class does not get rid of the impact of centuries of trauma. So everything that we do, we are offering trauma-informed therapy with it. I don't care whether it's to our entrepreneurs, whether it's to our scholars. We know that we cannot get over that which is done to us and has been done to us over centuries just by making more money.
Well, one of the things that we know is Greater Washington Urban League has a long-standing tradition of community service. And I think you have made a difference. And that's one of the things that we will see at the Whitney M Young Gala coming up, what that difference has made. It's also a fundraiser, but,
Yes.
We can think of and the fact that the Greater Washington Urban League is one of the, I don't know, do you all call yourselves chapters? But I know you're one of the entities with the national affiliates. Thank you. Affiliates of the National Urban League, which is headed by Mark Morial, and then our Greater Washington Urban League, of course, is President George Lambert. So I want to give him a shout out as well. So tell us about the event that's coming up on the 28th.
Yes. So on the 28th will be our Whitney M Young Gala. We have been doing it for decades. It's on March 28th, as you guys can see, at the Ronald Reagan Building. It is a multifaceted, but what I always like to tell folks, it is one of the largest Black family reunions of influencers, of transformational, who are focused on the transformation of our communities and our lives in the DMV. So we want everybody there. We want everybody there, not just to hear our story, but to hear our collective stories and to connect each other so that we can fight. I mean, in this moment, at this very moment, there is no other place that we need to be than with each other. Yeah. And so we invite you guys to come to our gala, not just to help celebrate and hear the work that we've done and the impact that we've collectively had, but to get to meet other people in the room, because it's going to take community building and community organizing for us to get over.
And so when you say you're honoring those with courage under fire, it's a lot of folks, I'm sure you all had to go through and select. Are those individuals, can you tell us who some of them might be, or who?
Yes, so I can't tell you the big person yet, because we're still negotiating that release agreement, if you will. Okay. But I will say again, we have Laura Coates, who has just been phenomenal for us. She will again lead a fantastic fireside chat with our key guest and honoree. Last year, it was the Governor Moore. We've had John Lewis. We've had so many, Ben Crump before, Simone Sanders. So I promise you that this person coming will not disappoint.
All right. Well, just to have Laura involved in the conversation.
Okay. Laura can handle it herself, right?
Yes, she can. Yes, she can. So this is good. So it's on the 28th, and what time?
6:30. But I'd say y'all go ahead and try to come by 6.
Right,
so we can make it to dinner on time.
Okay. All right. Kimberly, thank you so much for being with us, for sharing this. We're definitely going to help to get the word out. Unfortunately, like we picked the same night for a celebration, but we know that we'll be sending hearts and kisses over to you all, while you all probably be sending them up to us as well, because
absolutely.
We got a lot of work to do, and so I'm wishing you all a great event.
So much.
All righty. Thank you. So the Greater Washington Urban League, if you don't know, I think we put their information up for their website and social media platforms. Those programs that Kimberly talked about, hopefully you will reach out, and if you want to know more about their home ownership programs or entrepreneurial programs and mental health programs, check them out, because there's a lot of resources there, and this event certainly does help to support the programs that the Urban League does every year. So before we go, you all know every for the last 2 weeks, I have been repeating a broadcast, a message from Dr. Kay Wise Whitehead, who is the president of the Association for the Study of African American Life and History. I have been sending her message all over the place because I like it. We proclaim Black history. Dr. Whitehead, thank you for being with us here on Let's Talk.
Thank you so much, Denise Roloff Barnes. Happy 60th to you.
Oh, thank you, thank you, thank you. And you got, well, first of all, let's start by telling folks what ASALA is. I mean, I talk about it enough, but we can't talk about it enough. Tell folks what ASALA is.
Thank you so much. So ASALA is the Association for the Study of African American Life and History, Dr. Carter G. Woodson's organization. It was started back in 1915, and in 1926, Dr. Carter G. Woodson launched Negro History Week that became Black History Week by the 1960s, and then by 1976, Negro History Week, Black History Week became Black History Month. So the work we do at ASALA is lifting up of Dr. Carter G. Woodson and making sure that we create spaces, that we have resources to be able to study, uplift, celebrate, and proclaim the contributions that the African Americans have made to the American historical narrative.
And then ASALA is not only a national organization, but it's also built on branches around the country, correct?
Yes, I think that's the one thing that makes us so unique is our secret sauce. So the work is done in a national office by our amazing long-serving executive director, Dr. Sylvia Cyrus, but we have branches all over the country where people pick up the work and make sure that it is going out locally and then going up nationally. To me, it's kind of that old Coptic cross where your hands go up and then your hands go out. So we're doing both, going up to the national office and then going out locally.
Wonderful. And then in addition to that, I don't know if folks know, where the mystery, I hope they're not giving past presidents credit for coming up with the Black History theme, but that theme is birthed with ASALA every single year. So talk about that.
It is. That's something that Dr. Carter G. Woodson, for every Negro History Week, he would have a theme, kind of picking out one particular section of the African American history experience and focusing on that. So last year we did African American in the arts, and we do it about 2 to 3 years before. So this was even done before my presidency. And there are years when it lines up perfectly with what's happening in society. And this year it is a perfect lineup because our theme for 2025 is African Americans and labor. So we're celebrating both the visible labor of Black folks in this country, whether you're working in the government, whether you're serving in office, whether you're stocking shelves, whether you are driving buses. And we're celebrating the invisible labor of Black folks in this country. To me, I call that the emotional labor, taking care of your children, taking care of aging parents. I mean, even preaching and praying. These are emotional forms of labor that we have offered to this story. And in my statement, we proclaim it. I lift this up. I'm saying we don't have to be told that we can celebrate Black history. We are a living representation of our history, and we proclaim it.
I know that there was I don't think that there was a concern, but maybe there was, that this president might not exercise his authority to proclaim Black History Month from the White House's perspective. And so, I mean, when you created that message, your purpose was to tell people what?
So I'm glad you said that, and I thank you for that, because we are in a moment where there is a lot of chaos and confusion. And from Sun Tzu's The Art of War, that's how you destabilize your enemy. You keep them confused, and people were starting to murmur and get very concerned that we wouldn't have a Black History Month. So the statement coming from me as president is just to remind people in a very gentle way that we don't have to be proclaimed, we can proclaim it. We are lifting up the legacy of Dr. Carter G. Woodson. Even if you don't speak our history shows up in the wind. You don't tell us that we contributed to the building of this nation. Our fingerprints are cemented into the walls. It's reminding people that this is our history. It is our contributions, whether the White House or any house proclaims that they don't have to, we do. We step into our history and we hold up the legacy of our founder.
It's amazing, and you inspired us here at the Washington Informer when we put out there, it's Black History Month. Celebrate with us 365 days of the year. That's what we do, right? We help to tell that story. But people can become a member of ASALH. It's a membership organization. And why would someone want to be a member of ASALH?
I always tell people that you're actually already a member of ASALH. We just don't have your updated email address. Like, we need to connect with you and bring you into your membership that you already have, because it is about, bringing our resources together. We offer our members our Journal of African American History, which is JA, which is our bulletin of academic resources. We have our Black History Bulletin, which is for parents and K through 12th grade teachers with lesson plans in it. And then we also offer this amazing community. We get together in February 25th. At the Westin Hotel, to be exact, is the largest Black History Month luncheon in the country, hosted by ASALH in Washington, D.C. Mark Morial from the National Urban League will be there. Mary Frances Berry will be there, and there's still tickets available if folks want to join us. We also have a conference in the fall. In September of this year, we'll be in Atlanta, Georgia. And to me, it's like it's a big old homecoming, like a homecoming HBCU event. You come to connect with old friends and family, and you talk about what's been going on and how we can support each other. So the membership is about family and community building. It's not just about getting the resources. It's about locking into a network that's leading the way at this moment as we're trying to figure out how we go forward. ASALH has the answers, and we'll continue to provide them.
So before you go, because that was you mentioned it, but I want to just dig a little bit deeper into the luncheon that's coming up on February 22nd, and folks can attend that luncheon. We want to give us a little bit of a commercial on purchasing tickets, how they can get them, and that.
No, thank you so much. Because first, I want to thank you for correcting my date, because I gave the wrong date, and I don't want people running around thinking it's the 25th. It's on the 22nd. Thank you for that. It is in Washington, D.C. It'll be at the Westin Hotel, but you can go to ASALH, ASALH, ASALH.org to purchase your ticket for the luncheon. It will be an amazing lunch, but you'll also have an opportunity to be in table groups to talk about what's happening in this country. There'll be tabletop conversations, and you'll have an opportunity to hear from people like Mark Morial, who will be in conversation with Greg Carr. Mary Frances Berry will bring the occasion. I will bring a few words as well. And right before the luncheon starts at 12, we have an authors event. So if you want to come and get the latest books that are out, have an opportunity to speak to authors, that's from 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. And then the annual luncheon starts at 12 p.m. I am telling people, if they come and look for me. I would love to connect with you. I'll be there at the author's luncheon selling my new book. I'll be there at the luncheon bringing greetings. But I want to be able to connect with all members, old and new, and ones who are thinking about becoming a member, because this event is open to all.
Wonderful. I am going to let you go. I appreciate that you were able to join us today. I know I want to get you back on again, because one of ASALH's big initiatives are the establishment of freedom schools. And I've brought that up in different places. Folks are intrigued by it, but now we need to figure out how to make that happen. And ASALH's taken the lead on that. I understand that's one of, I haven't disclosed the fact that, yes, I am a life member of ASALH. So I need to let folks know that.
That's why we love you.
and we'll stay engaged. I know what's going on. I'm a solid preacher, but anyway, with regards to freedom schools, and so we want to talk a little bit more about that. In the months to come, why ASALH decided to engage in this, and what we hope will happen in communities across the country to keep Black history alive.
Thank you so much. That's one of my key initiatives. And I'm just arguing that we need to protect and preserve and promote Black history. We do it through ASALH, and we do it every day in our lives.
Dr. Whitehead, before you go, you have a show of your own. And I want you to use this opportunity to tell folks how they can listen to you on your show. You're in Baltimore, so you're right up the road. But tell us about your program.
Right up the road. Yes, it's called Today with Dr. K. It comes on every day from 3 to 6 p.m. On WEAA, Morgan State University's. We are the GWUL of Baltimore. Morgan State is. And my show is a talk show. And it covers everything from politics to prose. It actually has a Murrow award-winning and Chesapeake award-winning radio show. I'm one of the few Black women solo hosting a drive time radio show. So when you're in your car, when you're on Facebook, tune into Today with Dr. K, and let's have some conversations that matter.
Wonderful. I'm glad you were able to share that with us. Go. I know you got to get ready. So thanks so much for being with us, and I appreciate your time. All righty.
Absolutely.
So, folks, I will not see you at the Urban League event. As I told you, that is the date that the Washington Informer will be celebrating its 60th anniversary. But if you go, I hope that you enjoy it. I know that you will enjoy it and take advantage of all that's there. I also hope that you, if you need to, you'll reach out to PEPCO to make sure that you get, those bills taken care of. We don't want anybody to be in the cold or the heat as time goes on. And PEPCO has something to offer, take advantage of it. Also, over the weekend, we're supposed to get some snow coming. You might want to go to your local bookstore. I'm going to promote, of course, Sankofa and Mahogany bookstores to see if you can get a copy of Tamika Mallory's book. You may want to read that on the snow days that it's closed. Monday is a holiday. They call it President's Day. We really wanted to have Frederick Douglass, who claimed this date as his birthday as well. We have a gentleman who we love talking to at this time of year, but we weren't able to reach out to him. But remember, we might not want to celebrate President's Day, but you can always, in the spirit of Black history, read some more about Frederick Douglass. And of course, as I said, I say that there are 3 things we need to do this year, and I'm going to keep saying it over and over again. Buy Black, subscribe Black, and donate Black. Whatever else you do, just make sure you do that. If you can buy something from a Black-owned business, do it. Make sure you subscribe to your Black-owned newspaper, magazine. I'm promoting the Washington Informer. And donate to at least one, make it a regular donation. I don't mean one time, but if you can make it a monthly donation to a Black organization or organization that serves our community, send that $10, that $5, that $50, $25. If you really got it like that, $100 a month to support those organizations. That's the only way. As my daddy used to say, if it is to be, it's up to be. If it is to be, it's up to me. And no one can save us for us but us. What we need is in the house. We have it in our hands. We just have to let it go and share it. So on that note, I want to thank you all for joining me today here on Let's Talk and all of our guests. I want to thank you for watching and hope that you have a wonderful Valentine's Day weekend. And if you don't have a Valentine, spread the love anyway. Until next week, have a great weekend.